We're talking about multiplying two-digit numbers using something we call the lattice method. So when we talked first about multiplication, I told you guys that I would teach you two different ways because everybody learns differently. So it's important that we kind of get to do things differently. So some of you really love the standard algorithm. And if you're watching this video and you're someone that does the standard algorithm, I would encourage you to stick with the standard algorithm. But if you're watching this video because you don't really like the standard algorithm and you really like lattice, or you would like to learn how to do lattice, this is the video for you. So today we're going to be talking about multiplying two-digit numbers using lattice. So to the left-hand side, I have 4 different task cards. We're going to work through 2 of them together, and then the last 2 I encourage you to do independently. So with lattice, very first thing that is really the most important thing about lattice is setting up your box correctly. So in your notebook, if you have a piece of notebook paper with you or something to write on, here's how we're going to start to draw our lattice box. So we just draw a big square, just like that. So this is just the very first start to our box. Now we're going to cut it into 4s. So we're going to cut it right down the middle and then right across, kind of making it look like a window. Now look, my lines are not perfect. I don't expect your lines to be perfect, but just kind of making it look like you have 2 sections on the top, 2 sections on the bottom. And now we are going to draw our diagonal line. So once your box is cut into 4 pieces, kind of looks like a window, now we're going to draw our diagonals. So we're going to start in the bottom right-hand box down here, and I'm going to draw a diagonal line going down through this box. And I'm actually going to extend the line a little bit past and a little bit outside of the box. Now I'm just making mine really dark so you guys can see it, but you don't really need to make it that dark. But your bottom right-hand box, you draw your first diagonal. Your second diagonal is going to go through the top right-hand box and the bottom left-hand box. So if I show you, if I start up here again, I'm going directly through this box, directly through this box, and a little bit outside. All right, I'm going to make that a little darker for you guys. So go ahead and do this with me. It's very important. Setting up your box is really the trickiest part of lattice. So I'm just making mine real dark so everybody can see. Okay, so that's your second diagonal line. And then your last diagonal line is going to be up here in the top left-hand box. You just draw it directly through and a little bit outside. So go ahead and make sure that your box looks just like this. If it doesn't, I encourage you to pause and rewind to see where you made your mistake. But this is how we set up our lattice box. You're going to have to do this for every single problem that you multiply if you're doing lattice. All right, now we are going to put our numbers where they go. So if I'm doing this first task card, 63 times 37, I'm going to put 63 up top. So I'm going to put 63, one number on top of each box. And then I'm going to put 37 on the right-hand side. So we're working on task card number 5 right now. So I have 63 up top, 37 on the right-hand side. Please make sure that your numbers are spaced out. So you see how my numbers are on top of boxes or to the right of boxes. They're not too close together. All right, now we're going to get to start to multiply here. So lattice is really cool because you just do your basic facts, fill in the boxes, and then you're pretty much done after that. So here's where I encourage you to start, just so that you get into the habit of always starting in the same spot. You really don't have to start in the same spot every time, but I think that it makes it easier on you to remember once you're doing this. So I'm going to start here at this 3 on the right-hand side, and I'm going to multiply this 3 by both of the digits on the top. So I'm going to do 3 times 3 first. I know that 3 times 3 is 9, but where do I put that 9? That's the question. Well, here's what I would encourage you to do. Being at home, I would put one finger on the 3 on the top, one finger on the 3 on the right, and kind of move down and over until they meet in a particular box. So kind of like we do when we read a multiplication chart, we put our finger on one number, finger on another number, and see where they meet. That's the product. So I'm going to use my highlighter to show you what I would do, but I'll take my finger on 3, my finger on 3, and I'll just move down and over, and I know that this is where they're going to meet, in this top right-hand box. If you notice, this top 3 is touching the top box, this right 3 is also touching that top box. So that's where they're going to meet. So I'm going to write my product inside of here. Let me just erase this so it's not confusing. So 3 times 3 is 9. So I'm going to put a 0, 9 like this because 9 does not have any tens, right? When we're talking about lattice, your top box is going to be the tens place. Bottom box is going to be the ones place. So if you have a number that has no tens, just put a 0 there, okay? Now I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to multiply it by the top number 6. 3 times 6 is 18. Again, where would these numbers meet? 18, if I go down, if I put my finger on 6 and put my finger on 3 and go down and over, they're going to meet in this top right-hand box. Or I'm sorry, top left-hand box. We were just in the top right-hand box. They're going to meet over here. So I'm going to put my 18, 1, 8, just like that, because 18 has 1 10 and 8 ones. You don't have to write tens and ones. I just kind of want you to see where the number placement should be. All right, now we're going to go down here to the 7, and I'm going to multiply this 7 by the 2 top numbers now. So 7 times 3, I know is 21, so I'll put 21 in this bottom right-hand box. Why do I put it in the bottom right-hand box? Because if I go down with the 3 and over with the 7, it's going to meet down here in this right box. Okay, now it's time to do 7 times 6. I know that 7 times 6 is 42. I'm going to put it in the bottom left-hand box. That's where they would meet. Again, I encourage you to do this on your notebook right now. Put one finger on 6, put one finger on 7, move down and over to the left at the same time. They will meet in this bottom left-hand box. So that's where the product goes for 42. Okay, now what happens next? This is our last step with lattice. Now what we need to do is we need to add up our numbers inside of the diagonal. So these really dark diagonal lines that I drew are very, very important, and here is why. You're going to add up everything that's inside of those diagonal sections. So if you can kind of look, I have a number here, I have a couple numbers inside of this one, I have a couple numbers inside of this one, and then I just have one number over here. Those kind of create our sections, our diagonal sections. We are adding up the numbers inside the box. So if you want to cross off your numbers outside of the box, go for it. We do not need those anymore. We're adding up the numbers inside of the boxes. So this 1 down here is just going to stay a 1 because there's nothing to add it up with. So that 1 just stays there, bring it down into that place. Now I'm going to add up 2 plus 2 plus 9. So I could do 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 9 is 13. I can think of it as 9 plus 2 is 11. Plus 2 more is 13, however you want to think about it. But 9 plus 2 gives me 13. So I'm going to bring my 3 down and I'm going to carry my 1 into the next place value, just like you would do when you're normally adding. Now I have 4 plus 8 plus 0 plus that 1 that I just carried. So I know that 8 plus 4, that would equal 12. 12 plus 0 is just 12 again, but 12 plus 1 is equal to 13. So my 3 is going to come down and I'm going to carry my 1 into the next place value. Now I have 1 plus that 1 more that I carried, which is equal to 2. So if you read your numbers, 2, 3, 3, 1, that's how I see. I know that I'm going to have to put a comma here because this is going to actually be read, and I'll draw a box around it, 2,331. And you can just read your number from left to right going down this diagonal slope. So this is the lattice method. This looks very messy right now, I know, and it's very, there's colors and X's and circles everywhere. So we're going to do another example, and I'm going to keep it a little more simple, but I wanted to show you every single step and why we do everything. And now for this next problem, we're just going to kind of make sure that we know the steps in order to solve the problem a little quicker and a little less chaotic. So let me erase this. We're going to do 68 times 29 now. And again, let's draw our boxes. Again, with lattice, you have to draw a box every single time that you do lattice method. So draw your box, make it look like a window, line going down, line going across, and then make your 3 diagonal lines. And as you can see, they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be, straight, beautiful lines, as long as they're diagonal and neatly going down to the left. All right, so I'm going to put my numbers up. So I'm working on this task card here, 68 times 29. So 68 goes up top, 29 goes to the right-hand side. Let's do this together, everyone. So I have 8 times 2. Remember, I'm starting up here, or 2 times 8. 2 times 8 is 16. So I'm going to put my 16 in the top right-hand box. Next, I'm going to do this 2 times 6. I know that 2 times 6 is 12. So I'm going to put 12 in the top left-hand box. Again, if you don't know why I'm putting my numbers here, put one finger on the 8, put one finger on the 2, move down and over. They will meet in that top right-hand box. If you do the same thing with the 6 and the 2, they will meet in that top left-hand box. Okay, and if you kind of think about it, the 2 is up here on this first row going across. So all of the products are going to be in that first row. Okay, now this 9 is down here going across this bottom section. So the products are going to be in the bottom section. So now I'm going to do 9 times 8. I know that 9 times 8 is 72. So 72 looks just like that. 7 10s and 2 1s. And I have 9 times 6. 9 times 6 is 54. So 54 just gets filled in. Now it's time to add. So now we're going to go ahead and add these numbers. If you want to cross off these numbers, feel free to. You're not adding them. Those were your numbers that you multiplied. Now you're adding within the diagonals. So I have just a 2 down here in the bottom right-hand corner. So I'm just going to bring that 2 down. In this middle section here, I have 4 plus 7 plus 6. So I know that 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 plus 7 is 17. So I can bring my 7 down and carry my 1 into the next place value. Now I have 5 plus 2 plus 1 plus that 1 that we just carried. So 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. So I put a 9 right here. And then last step, I just have a 1 up here. There's nothing else to add it to, so just bring that 1 over. And we have our product here of 1,972. So as you can see, this is how we solve 2-digit by 2-digit problems using the lattice method. 7 and 8, task card 7 and 8, I encourage you to go ahead and try those on your own. Draw your box, draw your lines and your diagonals, and go ahead and give it a go. And I will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.